happen in football, but we'll keep preaching football without violence because we give no room, because football should be a uniting factor. In fact, it's a uniting factor, not should be. So whenever football is played, it brings all people together and share that moment of joy. Whether you win or lose or draw, you just take it home, show the spirit of sportsmanship, and we move on.
And then we move on, and then now to the CAF Confederation Cup. We saw, clearly, Rivers United will play their first game at the Gospel Akpabio Stadium on the 31st of this month, and a lot of other draws, date, fixtures, time of the game. So CAF, we are not sure of the quarterfinals activities, in the CAF Confederation Cup as well as CAF Champions League.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. But I also understand that some of this match will be played under floodlights, and our opponent talked about USM Oja. They are also the defending champion on this very one. They have also started practicing how to play under the floodlights. So I expect that Rivers United should be paying every close attention to what is happening at the camp of their opponent right now, because this is what the Europeans do. They get to understudy you and know your areas of weakness so that they can be able to take advantage of it. Rivers United, we are not familiar in playing under the floodlight, and our opponent, they have already started practicing how to play under the floodlight, because I understand some of the matches will exceed 6 p.m. and when you get to 7 p.m. the weather is already dark. So I think this is what they should start doing as right now, because so that they will get familiar with it, because when they get down there to Ojas, they will definitely play under the floodlight, so that we can't give excuse that it's because of the fact that the match was played under the floodlight. That is why.
But this is not the first time they're playing under floodlight.
This is not the first time, but they have not been doing it consistently.
And then the Nigerian Football Federation have won the state FAs to ensure that they conclude their there is a Federation Cup, or risk penalty, this month.
Yeah, this is what they should do. Some state FA has decided to, be master of themselves. They don't want to align themselves with the proper calendar, which is not obtainable anywhere in the world. Because the state FA, they are also the organogram of, the direct FA. So they are answerable to the calendar of, the FA. You can't just claim to be a King Kong in your own field, whereas you are expected to be under somebody. You can't just carve out your own timing, your own fixture when you feel that it suits you. I mean, that is going to cause a whole lot of rancor.
And then some of the players that we should be preparing for the game between Ghana and Mali in the friendlies, FIFA window this month, they are opting out already. The likes of Victor Osimhen will not be part of the game. The likes of Tyrone Ebuehi, they will not be part of the game. And I'm just wondering who we are going to watch in this encounter. Maybe injury concern and, of course, club duties.
Yeah, for Victor Osimhen, his injury concern, injury worry. He had an injury in the time past, so there is also another recurrence of that injury, and the coach don't want to risk him, and that is why he had to bench him in their last game against Inter Milan, where they actually played a 1-1 draw. So Tyrone Ebuehi as well, also injury worries. They don't want to risk him as well, and that is why some of them has opted out of the that friendly game. Not just Nigerian players as well, the Ghanaian players as well. So the likes of Thomas Partey, Inaki Williams, and the rest. Even the English national team, some of their players will be out injured. Some of them are not totally injured, but they don't want to risk them. So I think for me, we have lots and lots of players that can take their place in the striking option and in the defense line. We have defenders that can take the place of a and then in the second option, we have good also attackers that can also take the place of Victor Osimhen.
And on our last story this morning, let's move now to club football. We'll start with the English Premier League, where Nottingham Forest have been docked 4 points for breaching Premier League profit and sustainability rules. The Independent Commission, found Forest losses to 2022-2023 season, and within the threshold of £61 million. This is not good, because when you have £61 million by £34.5 million, it tells that something is missing, and this matter has been on for some time. Yeah. But finally, they now have an evidence to prove that something went wrong, and they have been docked 4 points.
Yes, of course, and that is very, very clear, because looking at the rules, the Premier League sustainability rules and profitability rules, rather, others actually state that a club can be pardoned if they get to lose £5 million within 3 years, framework. But and that 105 million pounds, if you divide that into two, that is about, you are having about 50.2.5 million pounds. So it is acceptable. But they've exceeded that 50.2 million pounds to 62 point something. So it means that they are falling under the hammer, and that is why they are taking that bold step to also dog that 3 point. They are not the first person, the first club rather. We saw what happened to Everton, some time ago, where they were actually docked 10 point, but then they had to revisit and review, that judgment again. They had to reduce some of the point out there. So for me, I think it's a disappointing one for Nottingham Forest. Looking at the way they are actually struggling, for them to be docked 4 points at this point in time, where we have limited games before the end of the season, I think it's a quite disappointing one for them.
Quite disappointing. We won't come back later this evening. We'll say that formally, and then I'm sure we'll be able to get to the root of that and a lot. This evening, we're hoping that we'll talk more. We'll look at we'll talk about the Champions League and also some club football matters, as well as preparation for the Euros. Some friendly games, they are already lined up in the European scene. Many thanks to Michael for joining us on the show today.
It's always a pleasure doing this with you.
We'll be back this evening, and of course, it promises to be a bomber show at 6 p.m. Join us. Ekpo Temple is my name. Do have a lovely time, but stay out of trouble. As we used to say, it's one game football without violence. Bye-bye.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis,